We are live. Welcome back to the Morbid Hour here on the Horror and Metal channel. I'm Hellhound.
Or Fan 88.
Sean Erschen. Hell yeah, it's gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Oh boy. Here goes nothing.
Yep. Who would like to start?
You go, Jason.
Okay. I enjoyed this film. I think that over the past week of it being out, I've much less not been happy with the fan base overall. But, I walked in and I actually was not shocked. I was shocked at how actually different this movie was. I'm like, 40 minutes in, I'm like, and then when Michael shows up, I'm like, oh yeah, it's a Halloween movie. I forgot for a second because I'm like, oh, you're following this Corey guy the whole time, and I'll be honest, I liked Corey's character. I was finding things interesting, and when when I left the theater, I said, well, Halloween Kills was quite divisive. Well, this is about to start a war, and it did. So overall, enjoyed it, but we can also discuss things I didn't care for. Yeah.
About you, Hellhound.
Well, I think it was kind of a mixed bag.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it twice, both times on Peacock. I didn't see it at the theater. I just went ahead and watched it on Peacock. I just wanted to hurry up. I didn't want to wait, so I I knew going into it that it was gonna I didn't watch the trailer, but I read the plot summary like on Peacock before and so I knew going into it that it was gonna be different.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that, like I said, I read about the somebody being accused of murder, and then I was like, oh, okay, that's a different kind of premise. But hey, this might be kind of refreshing. Then I watched it, and after it was over, I was just like, wow, I'm shocked. Like, I'm just speechless. Like,
yeah,
that was one of the weirdest Halloween movies I ever saw. Yeah, the Corey character got a lot of focus. Michael Myers is barely in it. When he is in it, he's very weak and decrepit and kind of pathetic, which I don't care for that. I kind of the idea of two killers and somebody else being a killer other than Myers kind of grew on me. And so I watched it again. I let it soak in a little more. I thought about it more. There are a lot of things I did like about it. There's a lot of things I didn't like about it. One thing that really doesn't make any sense that I'd like to talk about is how Laurie Strode in the last two movies, she's this paranoid, overly cautious survivalist who made her house into a trap and stuff. When all it was Michael Myers killed a few of her friends 40 years ago. I mean, yeah, that would have been horrible. But I mean, now he's legitimately on the loose. He's a big threat. He's done some serious damage. He even killed her daughter, and then she's just like lives in a house out in the open, knitting and baking pies and stuff. It's like, shouldn't it be the other way around? Like, that didn't make any sense to me. And then, the Corey Cunningham character, played very well by Rowan Campbell, got way too much focus. He kind of hijacked the movie. 90% of it was about him. I don't think there's any way that the granddaughter Allison would go for a creepy loser like him. I thought that was strange and kind of forced. It just comes out of nowhere. There's a scene where he just says, I killed somebody. And she's like, okay, let's hold hands. Let's run away together. It's like, there's all kinds of moments that didn't make any sense in the movie that were like that. And then, yeah, the fact that he pretty much, beats Myers down and takes his mask. It's like, no, I don't like seeing Myers get his ass kicked by a scrawny, nerdy teen. It bothered me enough when Busta Rhymes did it. Now we see this geeky guy doing it, and yeah, I just I don't so care for that. But I do kind of appreciate how ballsy it was. I like how it was very ambitious. I did like the finale. I liked how different it was. I like that it was a little more serious than the last two. wasn't as jokey and humorous. Like they didn't have the out of place jokes as much this time.
Yeah.
Some of the humor was a little cringeworthy in the last two. I kind of like that they did away with that. But all in all, I think it still needs to soak in a little more. It's still fresh in my mind. I need to think about it more before I can properly rate it and rank it. But as of now, I'm just going to say I think it's just a great big mixed bag. I think that there's things I really didn't like, there's things I did like. I don't know. I'm still deciding on whether I actually liked it or not.
I feel exactly the same way. Like, yeah. There's and I got the same kind of feeling basically with the Rob Zombie Halloween 2007.
Yeah.
There's the same kind of thing for me. I like half of it I didn't like, and that's kind of the same way I feel about this. So it's like somewhere in between,
Yeah.
There's some cringe-worthy stuff in there. Like speaking of the comedy, yeah, it wasn't as bad as the last two, but there's some bad stuff like the DJ guy. I'm like, oh god, look at this guy. He's such a cheesy ass character.
Yeah.
Why don't y'all get the hell out of here before I fuck you up?
Yeah. I heard someone say it kind of made sense. Like this whole trilogy kind of feels backwards. Like you think while he's locked up for 40 years, she'd be normal and trying to live a happy life, but while he's be all prepared and Sarah Connor and waiting.
Exactly.
I know, right?
Yeah. That didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But Allison being all about leaving with him and with Corey and everything, I don't know.
I guess the way they see it is because in the last couple movies, or like 2018 at least, Allison was saying, "Oh, move on with your life, get past Michael."
Yeah.
And Aaron saying the same thing, so maybe that makes sense to them. But still, he killed your daughter, and he's still on the loose somewhere.
Yeah, my gosh.
How do you not?
Hiding in a sewer for some reason.
Yeah. And
let me move on and bake cakes and or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, Michael was barely in it. He didn't show up till 40 minutes, and when he finally did, like he just had barely had a presence. I don't know. It was weird. It was just weird. And like, what was that scene? Was he transferring his evil into Corey or something? What was that?
Oh yes, really when they show the little like flashbacks when he like grabbed him neck or whatever. That's what I think they're trying to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a weird idea for a movie that's supposed to be the final installment. If this wasn't the final one, I feel like it wouldn't have bothered me quite as much. Having a focus other than Michael. But I do agree that with all the people saying there are kind of parallels between this new trilogy and the first three Halloween movies. How Part 3 was like kind of its own thing, had that anthology feel. But this is supposed to be the conclusion of a trilogy. That's where it kind of that's where it's kind of disappointing. Because it should be the end of a trilogy.
That's the thing. I don't mind if you do something different, but it's like something that bold, that different in the last movie. Like, I mean, not only in the trilogy, but basically the franchise. And because you see how it ends. That's pretty definitive. Like, don't see what they could do,
Yeah.
Other than like this kind of thing, like one-shot stories.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like anthology type of series. I suppose they could do that, but
yeah.
Michael Myers, I don't know.
Yeah, I think overall one of the things that jarred me the most is Halloween Kills. Michael was at full in that movie. He was unleashed. When I see this movie and Michael's like weak, but he's like stiffed up and like crouched, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, it was weird to see that, isn't it?
Yeah. He's like
weak, old, busted, broken down old man Myers.
Yeah. The retirement of Michael Myers.
I know. I don't even know.
He's 65. So.
Yeah. And then the weird scene of Michael killing that dude, and he gets the bumbleys and he's like,
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I felt the same way when I saw like Spider-Man 3 when you see Tobey Maguire dancing in the street. I
Yeah.
had the same feeling, like, no, what is happening right now? What?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. The one hand, I like how they changed it up and tried something different, but I don't know. Like for the final installment, I just I don't know. Too many things didn't add up, and too many things didn't make sense. I agree with Horror Fan that the Corey character does remind me a lot of Arnie from Christine. They even have kind of
Yeah.
similar arc.
Yeah.
The same last name too, Cunningham.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like this was supposed to be. It feels like this was supposed to be a different movie, and then they just ended up putting the Halloween title on it and putting Michael Myers in there. It feels like it was a different movie. It feels like it began as a different movie, like a different script or something.
Yeah, maybe it did.
Yeah, you never know. I like that. I like that opening song, "Midnight Monster Hop."
Oh
That's
yeah,
a little catchy
that's kinda
tune.
cool.
They kind of set the atmosphere, and yeah, the opening scene. Wow, that was pretty. That's
It
pretty
was
hardcore.
intense. It was intense. Yeah, I
Yeah,
gotta give you that.
it kind of had me on the edge of my seat.
yeah, and
Like
Wasn't really sure where they're going to go with it after that.
yeah,
horrifying. Like,
Yeah,
oh man.
and as a Myers fanatic, like myself, I could see a lot of callbacks to things like when the kid drops and they look up at Corey and he's over the banister with the knife. I'm like, that kind of looks like the shot of Michael from '78 with
yeah,
over
it
the.
does. Yeah, that's a good catch.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna be him when I saw the trailer. I'm like, they gave this guy the cool shot.
Yeah, I know.
And that was another thing is I caught a few TV spots because they were just inevitable at that point. And
Yeah.
it's bad when you can tell who is not Michael because they showed the head stomp like not fully in the teaser and he like jumps up. I'm like, Michael wouldn't jump up in the air and stomp someone's head. The fact that Corey, this new character, gets more and way better kills than Michael does in his own movie.
He had great kills.
Steal his thunder. Stole his thunder.
Yeah. And
that's why I think he comes back at the end, like, take and he sees the mask on the floor. I'm taking this shit back.
Yeah. Say, I want to end with that action. Michael only killed 2 people.
And that's when he's like snaps the guy's neck when he's like, all right, enough of this.
Well, three if you count. Yeah, 3. No
Corey.
Yeah, Corey.
Yeah. The nurse, the redheaded nurse.
Yeah. Then the cop, Doug or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
And Corey.
Yep.
And himself. Himself is the most brutal death. They saved all the gore for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I agree, James. It sucks about Ted White. He's my favorite Jason.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Final chapter.
Sad. Definitely a great Jason.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, it was a really weird movie. Again, I don't know. I can't really say for sure if I liked it or disliked it. It was kind of, I don't know. It's kind of half and half. It's already very, very divisive.
Yeah.
Like wow. People are petitioning that they remake it already and stuff. It's like, dang, some of you Halloween fans are pretty hard.
Yeah, true that. I think that was my issue, is that I really don't care. You could like a movie that I dislike, or I like a movie that you dislike. I just think people take it way too far sometimes with the criticism, hating on it.
Absolutely.
Of course, they got to throw it around. You like this movie? Well, you're not a real Halloween fan. And I'm so.
It's like the Star Wars fans.
You hurt, man.
But when Corey was Michael, I mean, he stole his look, I still felt like it was Michael, because it's weird how they did it. Because Corey killing earlier in the movie with his scarecrow mask, he's very sporadic. But when he's as Michael, he's kind of like Dick Warlock with his movements and ways.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, imitated him a little bit.
yeah.
Like in the radio station scene when you see him kind of walking past the window and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
that
Yeah,
was an awesome kill though.
Yeah, it was. The tongue on the
Yeah.
record. Kind of reminds me of Friday 13th Part 5 a little bit, and it has a different killer, but at least Michael was in it.
Yeah.
Kind of got some Jason Goes to Hell vibes there, too, a little bit.
Yeah.
Because Corey kind of felt like he was possessed by Michael, even though Michael was still there.
Yep.
Yep. I do feel like this is the new Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Except Michael's in it this time.
Yeah.
Barely.
Oh, cool. NY Fan Cam. Awesome. That's a great set.
Nice.
Yeah, I recommend that for anybody. Very, very good set.
One day I'll get it when I can afford it. If it goes down in price, if it ever goes down in price. If it's anything, I'll probably go out of print too.
Yeah.
And then it'll be like $500.
Oh, one scene in this film that I was baffled at, but I kind of laughed because I'm like, what are you doing? Is when Corey goes into the sewer and he's like, you got something I need. And Michael's just standing there like a coat rack, starts fighting.
You wanted the mask that bad. I'm glad you didn't wear that stupid scarecrow mask the whole time.
Yeah.
I guess that's the thing that bothers me the most is how they handle Michael. Like, it just was so jarring to see him so weak and like, especially in the last one when he's like a vicious monster, basically.
Yeah.
Like, unstoppable monster.
Yeah, he was so unstoppable in the last one. He was a powerhouse. Like, my gosh, he took a beating and then he just got up and just slaughtered everybody. And now in this one, it's like, man, what happened?
Some of it kind of remind me a little bit of the one that everyone hates, Part 5. You know, at the beginning when he's coming back from what happened with Part 4 at the bottom of the well, or whatever. He's like, oh, and then he floats down the river, and then he goes to the old man's house, or whatever. That was the only time we saw him like vulnerable, really, before this, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there you have it. He had COVID. Okay. Yeah, you're right, Big K. That explains it.
It does. I also got kind of Hellraiser vibes when Corey brought the cop into the sewer and was like holding him for Michael and like, come on, get stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminded me of Julia bringing victims to Frank and
telling him to get up and stuff.
Yeah.
I never thought of that.
Things that I can say positive without a doubt is Carpenter's score. It's different for this franchise. Like, there's not a lot of typical Halloween beats in it, but I still loved it. Like, it sounded amazing. And
yeah,
I think this might be the best shot film in this new trilogy. Like, I just think it looks really good.
It does. It does.
It does look good.
What do you guys think about how, like, you know, all the characters are different? Like Allison's different, Laurie's different, Michael's different. like, look at the difference between Allison and the past couple movies. Like here, she's like reckless and like a rebel, or
yeah, felt kind of
like going with this shady guy. Before she was like strong and like intelligent, seemed like, you know.
Yeah.
Resourceful.
Yeah, this felt kind of inconsistent.
I got with it when it comes to Allison, I kind of got more of like a more toned down, like Laurie from Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, where she's like, she's messed up, but she's a rebel, and she's like, I hate this and all that. It's not as violent as it was in that movie, but you can tell she's much different.
I mean, she's good. Like, everyone's good. Like, Jamie Lee's very good. It's just like different, you know.
Yeah, and you know, I can see people's issue with the fact that this entire movie's marketing was Laurie versus Michael, but it was like a minute and 20-something seconds of marketing.
Yeah, the trailer was kind of a lie. It was kind of misleading.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was for a lot of people.
The trailer showed more footage of Michael than the movie because they took some scenes out
Yeah.
of the trailer.
Yeah. We need a director's cut.
The Michael cut.
Yeah. Halloween, the curse of Corey Cunningham. What was up with Corey's mom?
Ugh,
I know.
That was weird. Like, what was that?
thing. That reminded me so much of like the 70s and 80s horror movie, like mothers that are crazy, and
Yeah,
Harry's mom, for instance, how she's like all up in her face. And
right. She kissed him on the lips and that one.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
Yeah. I was like, where did that come from? I thought she was just like really overprotective, and now there's like, what's going on?
yeah.
What do you think how Corey's bullied by these like snot-nosed little teenagers?
Oh, the
Like,
band.
dude, you're
Oh,
like
yeah.
25-year-old man,
I know.
grown man, and you're like scared of these little piss ants, you know? You serious?
Oh,
I've always liked revenge movies. I kind of like when somebody gets even with their tormentors. And almost everybody who died in this movie had it coming. Like everybody was, a jerk or bully or something.
yeah.
Why couldn't they be his age? Why couldn't they be grown
Oh
men
yeah, I agree.
bullying them, you know?
Yeah. I think what this movie taught me is that everyone is just an asshole. Like everything
Yeah.
for
Maybe, yeah. Maybe Haddonfield's just full of it.
But in a sense, it was nice. I did like seeing a different side of Lori
Mhm.
because we hadn't seen that since like the original movie. You know, her just being a normal person, not like
Yeah, I kind of like
dealing
that
with the
too.
trauma. I mean, it's still there, but at least she's trying to live a normal life, and like
Mhm.
the scenes with her and the guy Will Patton and at the grocery store, and then
Yeah.
when she's hanging out with Lindsay and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Hawkins, right? Uh,
Hmm
2018. I'm like, I love this character. Like, I like him a lot. And even though he survived his injuries, I feel like they didn't know what to do with his character because in Kills, he's just in a hospital bed the whole time. And this one, he's only got like 2 or 3 scenes. And I'm like, I
Yeah, he
want more.
wasn't in it much.
I know he's so good. Like, what the hell? Why
Yeah,
aren't you
what
using
a
this
waste.
guy? He should
Yeah,
be the
Lindsay wasn't in
sheriff
it much either.
Yeah.
instead of the useless sheriff that we get. Like,
Yeah.
especially in this movie, he just shows up right at the end, like, and has
Oh.
one little line. Like, dude, where you coming from? You
Yeah.
been
Now you
useless
get
the
here.
whole franchise.
Well, I think that's it's me. I review movies. I don't claim to be like a movie critic. I don't do like I don't have a rating system or anything. If I enjoy a movie, I enjoy it. And sure, there was things that I didn't care for in it, but I still had a good time. Like I had a good theater experience. I had a good time. Of course, I was shocked for the most part, but like I said in my review, I saw Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 in theaters and walked out hating that movie. This is the only one that I walked out confused about how I felt. I'm just like, I don't know, you got me.
Yeah.
Whenever I watch Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I always end up walking out of my own house.
You walk out of your own room or whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's a lot of it is an interesting story. Corey's story is interesting.
Mhm.
And it's like, he's kind of possessed by the evil of Michael in a way.
Yeah.
It's almost I almost wish there was a little bit more of a connection with Michael. Like they only show a couple scenes like where they're tied, like with they go on the one kill together
Yeah.
Yeah.
when they go to that couple's house, and when
That-
Michael kills him, he like kind of looks at him like see how I'm doing this,
Yeah. It's So this is
Like
how you do
training them.
it. Yeah.
That was one of my favorite scenes of the movie because while Michael doesn't need a sidekick, he really doesn't. It was still interesting to actually see what it would be like. And
Yeah.
Corey was
Yeah.
going. He sensed Michael in that scene when he's banging on the door and he stops and he's like, just looks up and Michael comes in. I'm like, this is pretty cool. I kind of
I like
it.
that. Yeah, I did.
This could have made it for more of an interesting, like a what if
Yeah.
kind of scenario than like the actual conclusion of the trilogy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. As I said, this movie feels like a spin-off, but set in the same universe. And he crosses people.
It does.
But the thing is, they build up this whole story with him, and then he just like stabs himself. Like,
I hate it.
Really? Like
Yeah.
they could have kept going with the franchise and made him the new Michael or whatever.
Yeah.
If I can't have her, no one can. It's like,
If
if
the
you kill
evil's
yourself,
passed on to him, why can't he could have took over?
It's like if he kills himself, somebody else can still have her.
Yeah.
If I can't have her, no one can. And stabs himself. It's like somebody else can. That's not going to stop other people from having her. He would have killed her, yeah, but
True.
what was up with that old man? That's like outside.
By the sewer.
I'm Michael Myers.
Yeah.
What's up with that? There's a
I
lot
guess,
of weird moments in it like that.
I guess just a call back to Halloween 5 with the old hermit near Michael or something.
Yeah.
But I noticed at the party scene, with Allison and Corey, I caught Nick Castle. He's the guy that flashes.
Yeah.
Thing you like.
Yeah, I thought that was him.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it showed Joe Bob's sidekick there, Darcy.
Yep. Yeah. I read that she said that she got her death scene cut out, so I guess they just made it a cutaway kill, which sucks.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah.
You should have gave her a nasty one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was another thing is a lot of the deaths in this movie are cutaways, and you see an aftermath of it or something.
Yeah.
So.
Like the one with the blowtorch. I really want to see that. Like,
I want to see more of that. Yeah, that's some of the best kills, honestly. Some really brutal kills.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you guys think about the death of Michael? They killed him in a really definitive way.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't see him coming back from that.
No.
Jason would, but not Myers.
I think for this story to end, you probably had to kill Michael.
Oh yeah.
And even though I know that this franchise will never be over, it'll be around for probably another 30 years in different timelines. But I was just, damn, they did it.
Yeah.
That's what I was like holy yeah.
He does the deadest he's ever been.
In a way, I admire that they had the balls to finally do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way he should go out. That's the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only thing that bothers me is when Jamie Lee says that line, like, I chased you, you chased me, and I thought you were the boogeyman all these years, but you're just a man. And that bothered me. Like, just her saying that takes away all mystery he ever had.
Yeah, yeah, I don't care for that.
Like, son of no.
It's like, no, he is the boogeyman. He's
just a
evil.
Man.
Yeah,
come on, that's the Rob Zombie version.
Yeah, exactly.
Very true. I think this trilogy in itself didn't really know what to do because when 2018 came out, they said Michael is back to his original style. He's human again, but then kills. He's like this supernatural being, and now he's just an old wounded man.
Yeah. The tone is all over the place with that. It's kind of felt like an inconsistent trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he is just a man, then I guess that suppose that kind of makes sense. But then, how is he so strong?
Yeah, especially in kills. Like, wow, was he powerful in that?
And it's supposed to be following the original 1978 Michael Myers, who,
Right.
that's how John Carpenter meant him to be an unstoppable force of evil. He even said that. That's how I wrote him to be. But now he's just an old man. Now he's just an old man. That's it. Just some psycho.
Yeah.
I agree. And trailers, it kind of irritates me now because they show the fight scene in the kitchen so much in trailers that it kind of felt like, well, now that I've seen the movie, you showed the entire fight in the trailers.
Yeah.
I know her.
I avoided the trailers like the plague.
Yeah, and that's what sucks is that the marketing for this film started off way better.
Yeah.
I mean, one trailer, like one TV spot for like a month and a half, and then all of a sudden, 40 TV spots and trailer. I'm like, stop.
But at least they didn't give anything away on the Corey story, really. They barely showed like a little tiny clip of him. Like, you don't know anything about him.
Yeah.
And that's the whole movie.
One thing I'd like to know your guys' opinion on is I've seen this going around a lot. Do you think in that scene where Corey wakes up in the house and Laurie's there talking to him, but all of a sudden she's gone, do you think she was really there or was that just in Corey's mind?
I wondered that too.
I think she was there because
I think so too.
Stay the hell away from my daughter,
Yeah, she kind of disappears. It's like she was never there, and he looks around.
It kind of builds up to when after she sees him and outside the house, and then she says he's got evil in his eyes or something. Yeah, shit.
She's the one who hooked them up, and it was almost like in the same sentence, like
you could see he was starting to bother her now.
Yeah. Oh, you should date my daughter. Stay away from my daughter. It was like almost in the same sentence.
Yep.
Yeah, but then right before that, she says, "I want to find help for you," like sympathetic.
Yeah.
And stay the F away from my daughter. Which is it? Are you gonna try and help him? Or?
I actually haven't seen any of the Purge movies, James.
What is one of the best Purge? I think Purge Anarchy, the second film, is probably the one I like the most. It's got the most action and fun.
We'll check that out. Mm-hmm. Hello, Amber.
What's up?
She wasn't really in the house. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's open to interpretation. I don't know.
Yeah, I suppose it could be. If maybe he was just losing it.
Yeah. The way I viewed Corey and Laurie, Corey and Laurie's relationship is that she was almost, I felt like she was going to be like Corey's Dr. Loomis, where she's trying to help him, but then she's the evil and got to stop him. And
yeah.
I could see where they were going. Yeah.
But what do you think of the whole romance with her and Elson and Corey?
Romeo Juliet Asher. Yeah. I think the thing is I was fine with a lot in this movie because I get both sides of the argument. Like, why wait till the final film in this trilogy to go way off the board? But at the same time, I was kind of enjoying like the new things they were throwing at you that, in my opinion, didn't fully get executed well.
Yeah. It's refreshing in a way, in a sense, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of just Michael going around killing people, and
yeah, I'm kind of glad it wasn't just that. It wasn't just Laurie going after Michael or Michael going after Laurie.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We saw that in 2018. A lot of that,
Matt Divots in the chat. How's it going, Matt?
And H2O and all,
I wanted to go see that show so bad. Merciful Fate and Creator. I haven't seen either band, and the tickets, all the like affordable tickets, sold out really fast. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to see it. But yeah, I mean, I'm seeing Iron Maiden on Sunday.
Nice.
My brother just saw Iron Maiden and Judas Priest.
Oh, nice.
The other day, yeah. Like, he's bastard.
Yeah, I'd love a sequel to Night of the Creeps, Return of the Creeps.
That'd be cool.
I love that movie.
So here's a good question. What do you guys think of the third and final pumpkin intro for the series? The morphing pumpkin.
That was cool.
I liked it. It reminded me a little bit of Halloween.
That's pretty cool.
When the pumpkin opens and the skulls and the.
I liked it a lot.
Yep. The font was very Halloween 3. That bluish font.
Yes, I'm sure that was intentional.
Yeah.
And it opens a little different, like without like the creepy music, or and then like instead it's like the DJ guy and the radio.
I thought I was in the wrong movie when that happened.
You know.
Field. I was like, oh movie, because he was like, welcome back to this, and I was like, am I in the wrong film? Yeah. Another character they kind of didn't know what to do, Lindsay Wallace. Again, she's gone through halfway through, and you're like, where'd she go? Never to be seen again.
She was good in Kills. I liked her. Yeah. And even what little you see of her here, I like her, but they didn't do much. They didn't do much.
Yeah. Don G. Corleone's in the chat. How's it going, man?
How's it going?
Talking Halloween Ends.
Sounds like a cool rapper name. Don G. Corleone.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that movie a long time ago, Burnt Offerings.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah.
Oliver Reed.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that was a great cast, actually. You had Betty Davis and Karen Black.
Yeah, yeah.
Burgess Meredith.
Oh, yeah.
I think out of this new trilogy, the best they handled Michael was in 2018, as far as the stalking went and how true he was to the original look and feel.
Yeah, I think he was the most mysterious and creepy in that one.
Yeah. He felt most like the classic style of Michael to me. Like I believe that that was the original 1978 Michael, just a little whatever.
Yeah.
I could buy it.
Yeah, I knew you were a movie lover. Just with a different name.
James Jude Courtney's a great Michael.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I still have a hard time figuring out who really is my favorite Michael, because I say Nick Castle, but a lot of people played Michael in the original, but it was mainly Nick Castle.
Yeah.
But James Jude is just he's great.
He is.
Yeah, for me, it's between Castle, Courtney, and Warlock. For sure.
Yeah. Yep.
My favorite's Dick Warlock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just felt like he was the creepiest, like the scariest.
Yeah. Very
the way I know some people have a problem with the way he moves, but I love it. I think it's so like a zombie, or almost like a
kind of robotic, a little
walking like evil on two legs, just like Donald Pleasance says. Yep. He felt like the version that Donald Pleasance talks about in the original, like pure evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. See you later, Big K. Thanks for stopping by.
Have a good one.
Doesn't originally see him mostly like in the background, in the shadows, and here when you see him quite a bit in two, he's just evil as hell. He doesn't lose any of the scare factor, in my opinion.
Yeah, true.
My opinion on Dick Warlock, he's underrated and overhated, because I think he was the devil as Michael.
Yeah.
Sure.
I agree. Anything else you guys want to add about Halloween Ends before we get into our ranking?
For me, it didn't feel like the definitive ending it deserved, that this franchise deserved overall.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot that I like, and I like it feels fresh in a lot of ways, but I didn't think this was the way to do it when you're wrapping up a franchise, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They could
Yep.
have built it up better, like within the past couple movies, maybe introduce Corey's character in 2018 and slowly build it up, but he just comes out of nowhere, this guy we've never seen. You know?
I guess 90% of the focus, he kind of hijacks the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
It's a bit
Oh.
much for me, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of things I like about it. But
Same here.
Yeah, I do too.
overall,
It's a
I'm
mixed bag,
hollow,
I think.
left hollow.
I think the two big things that I walked away from this trilogy loving the most is the consistent look of Michael. Like, he looks just the same but more damaged every movie, and I like
Yeah.
it. And Carpenter and his son and godson's score throughout all three have been excellent.
Excellent, yeah. Definitely can't deny that.
So, yeah.
I'm glad Lori didn't die. I was expecting her to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure.
I thought for sure she was going to. But
some people think she had a hand in that.
Yeah.
Her influence.
Yeah,
she wanted to come out smelling like roses or whatever. Like she wanted to have to get killed. But you know, she did get disrespected kind of in Resurrection, so you gotta give it to her. You know, I'm happy to wait her story ended.
Yeah, me too.
Technically, you could keep going with her. You know, if they wanted to.
Yeah.
If they were to make another one. But
yeah.
It felt like the final chapter for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna rank all the Halloween movies. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be tough, but I think I got my definitive ranking.
Yeah.
For my opinion.
Me too.
Yeah, sure, it was awesome.
Can't wait to see how ours probably very much differ, but it's all in good fun. We're here to have fun, and at the end of the day, it's my favorite franchise going on 20 years at this point.
Yeah.
Love the films very much. So let's have some fun.
Yeah, it's all a matter of opinion, too. There's no right and wrong answers. So if you disagree with any of our picks, if anybody out there disagrees with our list, again, these are just opinions.
Before we get into this, guys, I want to ask you one thing.
Okay.
How do you feel about this trilogy overall? Do you think it was worth it? Are there things you would change, like overall as a trilogy?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, I am very happy we got this trilogy. Love it or hate it, definitely things I would have changed overall. But I think as far as like the score, Michael, the kills, somewhat of character development, that little we get, I look back on the 4 years as a very fun time as a Halloween fan, and thankful overall.
I agree completely. I think it was well worth the wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, let's face it, we're never gonna get Martin Scorsese to direct a Halloween movie. You know, you could say, "I wish somebody else did it or somebody else tried it." You're never gonna get like Quentin Tarantino, like a phenomenal director, to come work on a Halloween, the 13th movie in a Halloween trilogy.
Yeah.
So I think David Gordon Green has a lot of talent in that area. He's a really good, stylish director.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the writing could have been better. Like some of the dialogue is a little rough, admittedly. And there's things that would change. Some of the comedy is a little off, but they certainly handled Michael really, really well, at least in the first two movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt
Yeah.
like the classic style of Michael Myers come back after we seen him diminished with all the sequels as they
Right.
went on, and then you had the Rob Zombie, totally different thing there. This felt
Yeah.
like the old school classic Michael Myers. It was cool.
Exactly.
I guess at the end of the day, I know a lot of people don't like the fact that there's too many timelines, but I guess you can choose your own adventure. Many people could have favorite timelines and what they prefer, and it's all fun.
It's the only way to do it, really. I mean,
Yeah.
Kind of makes it interesting. You get the
yeah.
different eras of Halloween. Sometimes you feel in the mood for certain ones too. Like at least I do. Like, oh, I'm kind of in the mood for Halloween 3 today. I'm in the mood for kills today.
Yeah. Mhm. See you later, James. Thanks for coming by.
Peace
Good
out.
one.
All right.
So are we gonna go like from worst to best?
Yeah, I believe so.
Nice.
Yeah. Worst to best.
Sounds good.
Sure.
Nice shirt.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so here we go. I guess I'll just start it off. My least favorite.
Yeah, go.
This is really the only one that I just truly do not like and never really watch. I guess if you want to look at it as a fun 2000 slasher, that's completely fine. But anytime I watch it, they completely disrespect the character of Laurie Strode. Like, imagine if Halloween Ends did Laurie like they did in this movie. People would be pissed. Directed by Rick Rosenthal, who did Halloween 2. I mean, what happened?
I know.
Overall, I think the look of Michael throughout the movie is okay in certain parts. Busta Rhymes and Danger Tainment, all that. Yeah, and what's so weird about this film is that when you look at it, it's the only film with Michael where he's not going after a family member. Like Laurie's dead, and then he just goes home.
Yeah. You would think they could have made that interesting, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Michael's finally done. He doesn't have any ties to Laurie or anybody else, He's just.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see where it went, but then.
And that's the best they could come up with.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Halloween Resurrection, number 13 for me.
How about you, Sean?
I second that emotion. The bottom of the barrel, the bottom of the trash heap. The funny thing is, like, when I first saw this in the theater, I actually liked it. And I think that was because of just the atmosphere in the theater. It was a lot of young kids like screaming and scared, and like it was kind of a fun atmosphere. But then when I watched it when I got home, and I was like when I got it on DVD or whatever, I'm like, ooh, yeah. What was I thinking?
Yeah.
It just feels like a cheap, like, cash grab on the name of Halloween to me. Like I don't think these people really cared about making a good Halloween movie, They just wanted to knock something out to make some money, And obviously they ruined what happened in H2O, which is like the perfect ending,
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Just because they wanted to make a buck,
I'll be right back real quick.
Sure.
It's strange monkey.
See that? Somebody made an edit where at the end of Halloween Ends, when Michael Myers' mask is on the table, it does a close up and it has the Silver Shamrock logo on it. That'd be interesting.
I wouldn't have been surprised if I almost thought they were gonna do something like that too.
Yeah,
The way they showed
it was all because of the
both
mask.
movies, they showed the mask. So
Yeah,
they should have did a little something with it.
yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, they had the trick or treaters in
Yeah,
2018 with the masks.
like it was
Thanks,
Michael's
Jankhead.
mask all along.
Yeah.
Possessing them, yeah. That would be interesting.
Yep.
As for my least favorite, it's kind of a tie because there's kind of two of them that I dislike almost equally.
Hi.
But you probably know what they are. But I think I'm gonna go with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Yeah, I saw the theatrical version only one time in the theater. I really disliked it. I almost walked out, but the reason I didn't is because I had some friends in the theater with me, and I was their ride. I was the driver, so I couldn't just leave them. So I should have said, "Hell with my friends." Just people can take their chances with this awful movie. It makes no sense. It's all weird and surreal and dreamlike. The stupid white horse and Michael having visions of his mom and Michael talking, saying "die." Dr. Loomis being a greedy, money grubbing egomaniac. Oh my gosh! Like, where do I even? I could just go on and on and on about how much I dislike this movie. Yeah, Laurie. Everybody always says, "Oh, the movie's so good because it shows how Laurie survived to counter the serial killer, and it's a realistic look at her psychological trauma." She's got a Charles Manson poster on her wall. She survived to counter the serial killer, and then she has a Charles Manson poster. I'm sure Rob Zombie probably has a Charles Manson poster on his wall. But
I'm sure he does.
It's stupid. It's stupid. All the stupid dream sequences. Michael Myers stabbing people 27 times and grunting on the horrible, atrocious dialogue with the over-the-top vulgarity and profanity and oh my gosh, everybody, the stupid teenage bimbo saying, "What's up, dick lickers?" It just got so old. It's like a 14-year-old who learned these words for the first time.
Oh man, the dialogue.
Oh, the dialogue's terrible. Michael Myers looking like a hobo. Oh man, it just I could just rant over. But basically, I just really don't like this movie. The things I like about it, there's a few things. I think visually it is kind of stunning. I do think it's a beautiful film to look at in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It does have some brutal kills and gore and all that stuff. Danielle Harris is always cool to see her. I don't know. There's a few things I like, but overall, this is my least favorite. Sorry to say, just my opinion. I know this movie has its fans. More power to you. If you like this movie, great. I'm sorry, I don't.
Very true. I am still looking at this, deciding which way to go about this.
Oh, you having second thoughts?
Yeah, for some reason, this time around, trying to do the ranking was the most difficult. I was like, where am I going to put this one? And put this one? But overall, okay, I guess I'm going to go with Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I initially had one before this, and this was going to be after that. But yeah, the things they do with the characters, I think in a way it's okay to look at like what Rob does with like PTSD in a way, where it shows like how dark a person can get when they have PTSD and where it can lead to. And but yeah, the white horse stuff, the only inclusion to add his wife Sherry Moon to everything. This is definitely when Rob Zombie made the first remake, he had to pretty much stay within a constraint. When they said do what you want with this movie, he took that to heart.
He did.
He got that right. Yeah, for me, the shining light in this movie is Brad Dourif and Danielle Harris. I think they're the best throughout.
Yeah.
Even when I saw this in theaters, I thought it was interesting the fact that we had never really gotten like truly like emotional scenes in a Halloween movie. And like when Laurie finds Annie's body and she's like completely breaks down, or even in the director's cut when Brad Dourif finds his daughter and just loses it. It was kind of heart wrenching because he's such a good actor. But yeah, I don't hate this movie as much as I used to, but I don't love it at all. I'm just kind of, I can live without it.
I don't like how in the director's cut, in the unrated version, how Laurie and Annie are always at each other's throats and always cussing each other out. Like, that was just stupid. I think I like the theatrical better, but I only saw it the one time at the theater, and then every other time I watch this movie, it's been the director's cut.
Yeah, I got the theatrical version, and that's the one that I watch if I do. Because out of the added scenes, I don't like. Okay, like
the version doesn't make any sense.
Theatrical when Laurie and Annie are talking, and she's like, "One day at a time," and then it cuts. I'm like, "That's nice." This one, the director's cut, continues that on, and she says "fuck" like 37 times.
Oh yeah.
yeah. When she first finds out that she's his sister,
yeah.
And that disgusting necrophiliac saying that, dropping the F-bomb like 30 times too. Just like, come on. Who writes this crap?
Rob Zombie.
Yeah, exactly. That says it all. All the white trash cardboard cutouts.
Yep.
Once again, Halloween 2, Rob Zombie. This is one I did almost like walk out on. I was just like, what the hell am I watching? But not to completely trash it. There are a few good moments, like the beginning, when I like the scene where, Michael's chasing Laurie through the parking lot in the rain, and that was just look really cool, and that was scary when he was like chopping it down, the little phone, the little booth or whatever, parking booth, whatever that was. She was hiding in, and he's like smashing through it, and like, this is cool.
Yeah,
and it turned out to be a dream, of course. But it's like, man, I like that. That was good. And the scenes in the hospital too was good.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I didn't like how they kept like he plays like the whole songs, like the What Nights in White Satin. I'm like, why are they playing this whole damn song? And the weird dream stuff is
yeah. That's the thing about Rob. He'll do his movies and put all this weird psychedelic stuff, but not even give you a sentiment of like what it's supposed to mean. So you're just like, I don't get this. Like,
pretty much.
In Rob's
acid trip.
Some of the scenes, like you said, are cool to look at. Like the when they had the Halloween party and it was like all trippy and weird, like a music video.
I did like the Halloween party scene. That was cool. Yeah. I like how all the atmosphere, like all the Halloween atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
But the kills the kills are definitely brutal and stuff, but some of them don't even make sense. Like when he just kills the random people in the middle of the field, or when he kills the people at the strip club. Like, why is he even there? Or like, what is he? What is the point of this?
Yeah, part of me, just like Halloween Ends, I kind of see both sides of the argument because Halloween 2 really does have a fan base and people love it.
Oh yeah,
and like if this had to be taken as just Rob Zombie's version, I get how like I don't think Michael would know how to shave or find time to shave anywhere, or he probably wouldn't walk around with his mask on all the time. But I feel like it's a great slasher movie, but it's not Halloween. If that makes sense.
It doesn't feel like a Halloween franchise movie. Like, But I can never forgive what they do with with Dr. Loomis. Like, oh
Yeah,
my god,
that's
no!
terrible.
What are you doing? Like,
I guess it's a
I can't,
slightly
I
more
can't, I
realistic
can't get
Michael
past that.
Myers. Yeah, I hate that. I hate what they do to Loomis. It just makes me so mad.
Yeah.
I thought he was all right in the first one, but then
Yeah, Malcolm McDowell did a great job in
yeah,
the first one, but he was one of the best parts of the movie. And then here, he's just written so terribly. Ugh.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that.
Through that, and in this movie, you actually see Lori find out that she's Michael's sister. They never did that in the
yeah,
original.
that
Yeah,
was
that's pretty cool.
Like
I didn't
they,
mind Lori. Scout Taylor Compton as much. I thought she was
Yeah, she
pretty
was
good.
okay. She's no Jamie Lee Curtis, but
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
you could see the trauma she goes through.
he's just written
And,
kind of badly in this, though. He's constantly dropping the F bomb and
But yeah,
stuff.
Yeah, I'll say I love Scout Taylor Compton. I love Danielle. I listen to their podcast a lot, and it's really fun. So, yeah, just the way they were written. But Danielle Harrison, this film was written pretty good. Like she has trauma too. It's just not completely gone like Lori is.
Right.
I thought she was much better in the second one, Danielle Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Like she was a little bit goofy and silly in the first one, but
Yeah.
this one, like she was much better in the second one. She was one of the best things about it.
Yep. Yeah. Her and Brad Dourif, like you said.
I like Tyler Mane as Michael. He's definitely intimidating, big, brutal, and
Very menacing.
Yeah.
what do you think about it with the big bushy beard and the the look of him? Hobo Myers.
It's weird. Overall, I don't think Tyler Mane's Michael would have let Corey Cunningham take his mask. He probably would have been like, nope.
Been chopped into little bits.
Yeah. I don't think Michael in his prime would have either.
No.
If it was Halloween Kills Michael versus Zombie Michael,
Okay, so my number 12. Resurrection, of course. I actually kind of like the first, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I actually thought that,
sorry about that.
You're good.
There we go. Yeah, I actually like the first 15 minutes. I thought that was kind of ballsy to kill off Lori. And it's like, when I first watched the movie, I was like, whoa. I was kind of blown away. I was like, wow, I can't wait to see what they do with it after this.
Mm-hmm.
Then I saw it. It's like, no, the whole found footage thing, and then the people with the cameras and that. But really, what I really hate about this movie really boils down to one thing. Aside from the really annoying characters that I don't give a damn about, Busta Rhymes kicks Michael's ass throughout the movie. I hate that. Using his kung fu, it's so cringeworthy. That really ruins it for me. Yeah, the music, the whole MTV.
Yeah, it feels like an MTV movie.
Yeah, it just it sucks.
What was that MTV show that this kind of felt like? Was it MTV Sphere or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, they clearly took inspiration from that.
Yeah, I think they're cashing in on things like that. And the found footage, like the Blair Witch and all that stuff. I think that they were still trying to ride the coattails.
Done badly.
Yeah. Well, that Brad Laurie was an okay Myers, but they made him way too much of a pansy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe Rick Rosenthal directed it.
Like when Busta Rhymes yelling at him, "Get the F out of here!" Or whatever,
yeah,
and he just turns away and walks away. I'm like, "Are you serious?"
Split his throat. The real Myers would have done that.
I mean, I hate that scene with a burning passion. But I do kind of laugh when Buster turns around. He's like, "Oh shit, man!" The only chuckle it gets out of me. Then the rest of it, I'm like, I don't like what you're doing here.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't be Michael Myers. I'm Michael Myers.
Yeah.
I think it's funnier to talk about than it actually is to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
The mask looked kind of weird too. It had those really thick eyebrows,
Yeah.
pronounced eyebrows.
His cheekbones were so pronounced. Usually,
Yeah.
He looked like he had like an angry face almost.
Yeah.
Mad face.
Oh my gosh.
True that. But
Looking a little crispy there, Michael.
Yeah. Like a treat.
oh,
Like some chicken fried motherfucker.
oh. I could fully see how this could be someone's so bad it's good movie that they like it. That's fine. I like Freddy's Dead. We've already discussed that, and that's very bad. But
Nah, it just makes me too mad. I can't I can't even laugh at it. I can only laugh at it talking to other people like you, but watching it, no.
Yeah.
Just gets me mad.
Me too.
Yep. But my next one is going to go to this masterpiece, Rob Zombie's Halloween. This movie just had its 15-year anniversary not that long ago, and 15 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, hard to believe.
When this movie came out, I did not want to see it in theaters because I didn't want to see a remake. I got it on DVD and hated it. I loathed it. Over time, I still don't like it, but I see a lot of things that I kind of like. Whole backstory, that whole 45 minutes, I do not like. And like, if you had to do a backstory for Michael, I just don't like the way they handled it. That whole opening breakfast scene is just appalling. But from everything after that, like to the point where Michael breaks out, it is a lot of just copy and paste of John Carpenter's version, but I like it better than the first half and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I think Tyler Mane is Michael. I like him a lot for this version.
Yeah.
As you said, Malcolm McDowell as Loomis in this one. It was great. Like, I thought he did a great job.
Yeah.
Sheriff Brackett, played by Brad Dourif, was great. Yeah, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but I don't really have a desire to ever watch it. Yeah, and I feel like the whole thing about Michael is that his first kill was his sister. But this movie, his kill is just a bully. And you're like, oh, okay. I mean, it's brutal, and you can't.
Kind of like that. That was pretty brutal. Like,
yeah, you can't forget the best character in this movie, Joe Grizzly, bitch, played by.
Ken Foray is always fun to watch.
Yeah, but it's weird how Michael would go from this, and then in Rob Zombie's 2, he's like, ruff, 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 ruff.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that a little bit in the new one. You can hear him like, oh man, sounds like Rob Zombie, Michael Myers.
Yeah, that right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. The break scene in the director's cut is a no-go.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so That's what it was when I saw it in the theater. That was in it, and I was like, "What the hell is this? This is so random. Like, it's not even doesn't even make sense. Like, just other than to be gratuitous or like exploitation kind of thing."
Pretty much.
I think a big part that this film is shot really well. Like the fall look of it, it looks nice. Fall look, it looks warm, and I guess it's going for that, but it's just not.
Yeah.
But, yep. What is your next?
You next, Hellhound. What's your next one?
See you later, Matt. My next one, Rob Zombie's Halloween. Yeah, so making Michael Myers more human and more relatable and having more of a conscience and all that, I think was a big no-no. Giving them the most cliche backstory ever. He's bullied in school. He comes from a white trash, poor family. He has an abusive stepdad. Oh my God, no. Yeah, the most by the numbers backstory ever. Yeah, I don't care for that at all. I don't care for all the over the top profanity and vulgarity, all the atrocious dialogue. But I do like Malcolm McDowell as Dr. Loomis. He was great. He's no Donald Pleasance, but he was still really, really good. Yeah, Brad Dourif as Sheriff Brackett was also really good. Tyler Mane was a good Michael. He's a little too big and bulky and muscular. I kind of like it more when Michael Myers is just kind of a normal looking guy and can blend in. I think that makes it far creepier.
Yeah.
Just this unassuming guy who you wouldn't expect to be capable of these horrible things. I think that's way scarier than this big wrestler bouncer at a strip club looking guy. I think this kind of takes away from it. But Tyler Mane does do a good job. He's very brutal, very intimidating, very menacing. But yeah, I hate the first half. I don't like. I did think that kid was a good actor. I think he was believable. He was a good actor. But yeah, then his family and just like all that stuff. Scott Taylor Compton was also pretty good. Yeah, Daniel Harris as Annie is good. But overall, I still think it didn't need a remake. The original's a masterpiece. It doesn't need to be updated or anything. I mean, maybe it was the right thing to do after Resurrection. But overall, I'm not too fond of this one. I'd probably give it about maybe a 6 out of 10. There are some things, like I said, there are some things I do like about it. I do like the Halloween atmosphere. I think the Halloween really shines through a lot. And like all Rob Zombie's movies, I do like the visuals. I think it is very stunning to look at a lot of times. But overall, I think it's more just kind of meh. Again, it just didn't need a remake. It just feels pointless. And I think Rob Zombie would have done great at a Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake.
I know. I can't believe he hasn't done that yet.
I know, yeah. I mean, or maybe even Friday the 13th, but not something as sophisticated as Halloween. In my opinion.
He could be the one to save that franchise, you know.
Yeah, exactly. I think he'd be great at that. See you later, Matt.
Have a good one.
Think we're right on par here. Yeah, Halloween 2007, the remake. There's things I like about it, like you were saying, the way it's shot and real cool, like almost like rock and roll type of visuals, like a music video.
Yeah.
I actually liked the openings. I thought it was something different. Seeing this version and how he becomes evil or whatever was something different than we've seen before. Obviously, if this is a human Michael Myers, you know,
Yeah,
could have done worse with it. And I thought that actor was pretty good. Dave Farch or whatever his name was. It's pretty good. And it's brutal, like when he kills Judith. And I like the scene once they throw him in the car and he's just kind of sitting there with the weird look on his face and the way the camera kind of does a slow motion thing. It almost reminded me of the original Halloween, you know, when they take his mask off and there's that slow shot of.
Yeah,
that was cool. And some of the stuff when they show him at the insane asylum, Smith's Grove Sanitarium was pretty cool. Like when Dr. Loomis is, you know, interviewing him, he's slowly kind of breaking down and eventually stops talking. That's when he,
yeah,
really turns into the shape, you know, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see him wearing like the Slipknot looking mask there. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
This-
Like, dude, Slipknot.
Yeah. It was cool that it was something different, I guess.
Yeah.
I think Michael Myers is far scarier and far more interesting when we don't know why he's a murderer. We don't know. It makes him more mysterious. We don't know why he's a killer. This one just really spelled it out and kind of spoon-fed it. Like, he has this generic backstory, and it was well done. It was well shot. Like, if I don't compare it to the original at all and don't think of it as a Halloween movie, then yeah, it's fine. It's just, not one of my favorites or anything, but
yeah.
But just as a Halloween movie, like, I hold it in very high regard. I have very high standards for Halloween, I guess. So
yeah,
I thought like the dialogue is like absolutely horrible sometimes.
yeah.
I can't help but laugh though at that guy Ron, like some of his stuff.
Oh yeah,
It's cheesy as hell, but it's funny. Like, bitch, I'll crawl over there.
Yeah. I do like how we see Michael and his relationship with Dr. Loomis. That was something we didn't see in the original.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool seeing them in the asylum and stuff. And then also, I did kind of like how he made his own masks and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'll say that's the thing about my list is that I have the weird relationship with this movie because I used to hate it, but over time it's grown on me more and more. And I'm glad he didn't just try to like the 90s Psycho remake Halloween.
Yeah.
So he did
try almost word for word the original.
It's too like trashy at times,
Yeah, I don't care for that. Sleazy, lowbrow.
It's brutal enough, but when you're remaking such a classic movie with this like trashy foul mouth version, like
yeah.
I suppose it's entertaining, but
yeah,
it could be better. That's for sure.
Definitely. So here comes my first controversial pick of the night. These next two, I was flipped. I just couldn't decide. Right now, Halloween H2O. Like I said, this could go before this.
Interesting.
I like this movie. I think it's a popcorn movie.
Yeah.
But I've just never loved this movie as much as some other people have. And that's fine. A lot of people love it and think it's great, and that's cool. I love a lot of things in this. Laurie is probably the best part of it because it shows her trauma in a pretty realistic way where she can act happy. She can have a she's alone. She's broken. And so I like that. But I don't know. It's just I can't get over the fact that when I watch this, I just see a movie trying to rip off Scream. Like the way it's filmed and the fact that it takes place in California, so there's no atmosphere whatsoever. They didn't like that. But it's definitely grown on me over time. When I did my ranking last year, this was like third from the bottom. So it's definitely climbing my list. But the Michael look, Chris Duran, I just think Michael looks wimpy.
He does.
The 4 or 5 different masks of the movie. I think the main one that you see is a good sculpt, but the 90s hair and the eyes always like...
The eyes are way too visible.
I know.
And, the thing about like this or Halloween Ends is people are like, well, what was Michael doing for 4 years? They don't explain it whatsoever. Neither does this movie. What has Michael done for 20 years? Why is he not burned all to hell? Why
he shows up after 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, you've been tracking Laurie that whole time.
But yeah, I still like this movie. I think it's fun. Definitely not the worst thing I've ever seen. Yeah, and the score too. The dun. I don't like the big orchestral. But the final fight, I will say, it was very satisfying. The way the action is like Michael. So that's why I say this one and the next, which back and forth. But H2O, I like it. Don't really hate it, but yeah.
I get that. I totally get that.
Joe Grizzly, bitch.
About you, brother.
So my turn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers.
Nice.
Oh my God, how many annoying characters can you possibly fit into one movie? I think aside from Danielle Harris as Jamie, Ellie Cornell as Rachel, Dr. Loomis, of course, maybe a couple others. I think I hate just about everybody. I think I hate all the teenage characters. Tina. Oh my gosh, all those that guy who wears the Michael Myers mask. He's like, oh, those two stupid cops.
That guy's horrible.
Yeah, those two stupid cops with the clown sound effects. Like, what the hell? What is this? Like, after the awesomeness of Halloween 4, which I think is a great sequel, this was just a huge letdown. I am actually in the minority where I do kind of think the Man in Black thing was kind of interesting. I didn't really like where it went.
Yeah.
But I thought that was something different. I don't like how Jamie can't talk through most of the movie. I don't like how they didn't really follow up on the twist ending at the Halloween 4. I don't like how she has a psychic link with Myers. I don't like how he has the thorn tattoo, which we'll get to more in that in a little bit. Yeah, I just. But I do like the end. I do like the scene in the laundry chute, the shaft or whatever, where he's coming after. I thought that was pretty good. There are a few good chase scenes and stalk sequences I think are pretty good. Don Shanks is one of my least favorite Myers. I think it's a really awful looking mask too. One
I'll
of the
be right
worst,
back, guys.
if not the worst. But yeah, oh man, Tina, oh gosh, oh. All right. Yeah, Halloween 5 is just one of my least favorites, but it's not terrible. It's just, I just don't like it as much as the others, I guess.
I understand that. Speaking right now, I'm looking at the two I just did. I'm just like, do I switch them? Or That's the problem with, I've ranked the franchise many times, and this is the only time where I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah, I've changed my ranking a few times over the years. Like, one of the first videos I did was a Halloween ranking, and it's like totally different now. That was like 6 or 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm almost willing to say, back to H2O, that the finale may be more satisfying than Halloween Ends finale. Like where it goes and the fight and everything, it's kind of more drawn out. But I just couldn't take Michael seriously. Like, I think the mask, the sculpt of the mask looked fine.
Yeah, it does.
It's weird. Yeah, but it's fun. And I didn't even mention some of the little tip of the hats in the movie, like the fact that Janet Leigh's in here and she's driving the Psycho car.
Yeah, and even plays the music a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Jamie Lee Curtis's real life mom too.
Yep.
Pretty cool. Carpenter was a fan when he gave Dr. Loomis the same name. Sam Loomis is the name of a character in Psycho, of course.
Yep. Yeah. That might have been another little problem, is the fact that at this point, no more Dr. Loomis because Donald Pleasance passed away.
Yeah. That's a drag.
Dude. Yeah. This cover has more fall in the movie than the actual movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people hate these 4K covers they do. But
yeah.
I like them, but when it comes to this, I never liked them.
Yeah.
But I think you are up, Sean, for your next one.
Well, my next one would be Halloween Ends.
Oh.
That my number 10, yeah. So we touched on that, and that's basically how I feel. It's a mixed bag. It's 50-50 for me, literally.
Mm-hmm.
I like it and I don't like it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
very
number 10 for me.
Very polarizing.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way I put. It's like Spider-Man 3 for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1-2s in the chat.
So,
What's up?
Yo.
yeah. My next one would also be Halloween Ends.
Oh,
This is what
I
I'm
wasn't
talking.
sure. I thought you'd have it higher.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like these two could switch. Like
Yeah.
H2O could be higher than, because I think it's more fun overall, and some things were better, like the fight scene with Laurie. But yeah, Halloween Ends. Needless to say, we've already touched on it, like you said. I liked a lot about it, but there was a good chunk that I was not really happy with, and it was just like, eh. But it's a pretty good movie overall. I didn't know where to put it at first. I'm like, where am I going to put this? But I figured it out.
It could change over the time for me, but
Yeah.
I don't know. After seeing it, it's already about 3 times now. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's probably why I couldn't figure it out, because there's things I like in it more than H2O, like the way it's shot, the music of the movie, the way Michael looks. It's just pick and choose, really. Yeah. Halloween Ends.
Nice.
I'll go with Halloween Ends as well. At least for now. I think it's still too early. Yeah. I think it's still a little too early to properly rate and rank Halloween Ends, because just saw it. It's still fresh in my mind. But as of right now, I'll say that's my number. What, 9? What are we on now? 9?
I believe so. Yeah.
Or 10? I don't know. Yeah, it's my.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let's.
And my next.
Go ahead.
My next up is going to be Halloween 3 Season The Witch.
Oh.
I love this movie. Yeah, Michael's not in it, but I think it's a fun October Halloween themed horror movie. I love the Silver Shamrock mask. It just feels like a John Carpenter movie. The score was done by John Carpenter, Alan Howarth, so it has that feel. Dean Cundy cinematography, directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, but it feels like it's a part of John Carpenter's filmography. It has a look to it and the feel. And yeah, I just love it. I think it's a lot of fun. So Halloween 3, Silver Shamrock.
15 days till Halloween.
That'd be funny if we all had each of the masks and we all went just like.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind getting those masks. Those are cool masks.
Yeah, I would too. Especially the pumpkin one.
I think they do have. I think your Street Studio made that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Well, mine's gonna be Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. Whether you want to pick the theatrical or the produced cut, I actually prefer the producer's cut because it makes more sense. But I know a lot of people don't like it, like the way it ends, especially a lot of people don't like that. I like it. I think it, and it's definitely a movie that has grown on me over the years. Like when I first saw it, that was the first Halloween movie that I saw in the theater, and I was very like disappointed, because it's a mess. Let's face it, like the way they explain the whole cult story, and when it was in a theater, I think it's like I said, the theatrical version to me makes a lot less sense, and it was like all feels like it's all over the place, Like Michael's supposed to be in this cult, and then at the end he just kills them all, slaughters them all in one shot. They never show him with the cult at any point. That's why I like producer cut actually seeing where he's there with them. It just looks like he's just there roaming around, like he has nothing to do with it. But there's some cool stuff with Michael's definitely brutal. I like George Wilbur's performance much better in this one than part 4. I like his mask; it's cool.
Yeah, the mask does look good.
And another thing that bothered me about the theatrical one is less Dr. Loomis. And I feel like this was his last movie. They should have gave him more screen time,
Yeah, you either get more Michael or more Loomis.
Yeah, that's why I like watching the producer's cut. This has more Dr. Loomis in it. And never cared for Paul Rudd's character, as Tommy Doyle. Thought he's just like weird and creepy, like when he's watching what's her name, Kara Strode at the seeing her in the window. He's like creeping on her, watching her like. And I just don't care much for this cult story where they went with it. I think that could have been a lot better, because I kind of was interested in that idea of it, but not executed well. There's some really bad acting, like with the radio DJ guy was supposed to be like the Howard Stern wannabe.
Yeah,
so bad.
Pretty cringeworthy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Good old Barry Sims.
Glad he got killed.
Yep. Well, next up, yet again, another 2 that could just switch because I don't know anymore. But for right now, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers. I love this movie. I really do. Does nostalgia play a big part? Of course. We all got nostalgic. But I love the way this movie feels because it is dark. And I've heard a few people say it feels almost like a giallo film, especially with the Man in Black. And, Tina, I feel like Tina can be very annoying, but I also feel like she'd be fun as hell to hang out with, like just to have a fun time.
Right.
But yeah, the look of Michael in this movie with the masked neck, like all the way down here, like a floating head or something. Yeah, I thought Danielle Harris was still pretty good in this movie. She had to show lots of emotion without speaking. So there was that. And yeah, I was very intrigued with the Man in Black, how he was just popping up here and there. And it's like, who is this now? But yeah, Dr. Loomis is that ultimate crazy in this movie.
Yes, it is.
Like, just
very impressive.
being in Jamie's face, like, right, I know you know.
Why are you protecting him?
I know a lot of people were kind of disappointed that this movie with Jamie being the killer, but I feel like if Jamie was the killer in this movie, then a lot of people wouldn't like it because it would not be Michael or something.
Yeah, I agree.
This movie feels gothic in a way. Like the Myers house is like
a
looking thing. I find it underrated. I just like it. So Halloween 5.
Next one's gonna be Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it's weird because I almost don't even like including this when I rank these movies because I just kind of counting the Michael Myers movies. It's interesting that they try to do the anthology thing, where each Halloween movie is going to be a different premise. I would have been on board with that idea personally, but I guess other people weren't. So yeah, they wanted Myers back, and so people either love or hate this movie. I'm kind of indifferent. I'm kind of just like in the middle. I don't love it or hate it. A lot of people say, "Oh, it's the worst one ever. It's the worst Halloween movie." No, I think that's going too far. Then some people say it's the best Halloween movie. It's better than all the others. Yeah, I think that's going too far too. I think it's just middle of the road. Awesome premise with the Halloween masks that do gross things to their wearers when it's triggered by that commercial. That's an awesome idea. It's a very complicated story with the druids and like all the stuff, the androids and Dan O'Harley's character and like Stonehenge and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like it gets really complicated. But overall, I love Tom Atkins. He's always a favorite of mine. He's not as badass here as he usually is, but you know, he's he's nothing like his Night of the Creeps character, of course.
No.
But that's okay. It doesn't have to be. But overall, it's a pretty good movie. I like it. But whenever I have a marathon of the Halloween movies, I usually don't include this one because I'm just watching the Michael Myers stories. So I've seen this movie maybe 3 times my whole life, maybe 4. I don't know. But I like it for what it is.
Who's next? Me? Or, I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. I think it's a fun movie. I think it's a nice little kind of alternate story to the Halloween franchise. It's nice. It's like a nice little break in between Michael Myers' story. I'm glad they went. Obviously, I'm glad they went back to Michael.
Me too.
I'm almost glad it wasn't successful. I just like it where it is. I don't think it would have done well if it was under Season of the Witch either. Because then people would say, "Oh," because it has a lot of the feel of a Halloween movie. It's got that classic John Carpenter score. A lot of the scenes look similar to like Halloween 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
And the android characters very much remind me of like kind of Michael Myers-ish.
Yeah.
And so it feels like Halloween, even though it's not. It's a totally different story, but I like it as it is. It's something different, a fun little kind of campy ride, And there is camp in there. Some people don't admit that, like such a serious, intense. Like, no, it's pretty campy. Like, especially the scene when the lady's looking at the Halloween mask, trying to pick it apart, and it goes, the laser light comes out. Like, and yeah, Tom Atkins is super corny to me.
Yeah.
He's one of the things that bothers me about it. I like him in other movies like Night of the Creeps and The Fog, but I just didn't like him in this. I didn't buy his character. I didn't buy that this guy's supposed to be a doctor. No. You think he has like one little medical term or something in the whole movie.
True.
I thought it was so funny, like, the scene where with Stacy and Elkin, where are you gonna sleep? That's a stupid question. Like, it was funny. But I like Connell Cochran. Is a cool villain. I thought. Like,
yeah.
I like this character. Like when he does the line about Sam Sawan or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. great villain. I do love that whole dialogue scene, like Halloween, the festival of Samhain. The way he talks, and they play Halloween in this movie. I mean, they watch Halloween on the TV.
Right.
Yeah. Technically, Michael Myers is in it.
Best. He has a cool like voice, like commanding, like, and I like how he's so nice and friendly, but then underneath he's this evil guy trying to kill all kids in the world.
Yeah, and I think the funniest scene in the movie is Colonel Cochran's death scene, because when he gets hit with the beam, when he just stands there like,
the head is like so bad.
Yeah, but yeah, I love Season of the Witch. It's a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, it's fun. Like, I don't give it any more credit than that, really. I know some people are like, this is a masterpiece. Come on.
Yeah. Well, for me, the next one, there's quite a few films in this franchise that people could say are the worst or the worst movies they've ever seen. But for me, my number 6 is Halloween Kills. Yeah, bad dialogue and bad character decisions aside, I think that this movie was a lot of fun. I left the theater like this was Michael's movie. Just seeing him leashed upon Haddonfield and just going crazy. And the score was fantastic in this movie. Still to this day, one of my favorite scenes of Michael is him walking out of the burning house.
Oh, yeah.
Epic.
I love that.
Hell, even the 1978 flashback in this movie, the guy that plays Michael, Aaron Armstrong, great as the Shape. He had much of a Nick Castle vibe to him. Yeah, the burnt mask in the film just looks insane. It looks almost more evil. But yes, I have to say the negatives. The dialogue, the way it's so bad. The character decision. Like, when someone's trying to shoot Michael in this movie, it's almost like the bullet just goes around his head.
Like the nurse.
Yeah.
Like just opens the door and it comes back at him.
Yeah, and the Evil Dies Tonight has become the biggest meme of this franchise. Like, does Evil die tonight?
Rightfully so.
Yeah, for me, it didn't. The first time I watched it, it didn't bother me as much as it did other people. I mean, like I said, the way some people are, just like, Evil Dies Tonight. It's like, down. But yeah, Michael's the star of the show in this movie. I went to the movie to see Michael, and I wasn't disappointed with it. And hell, the scene where the mob is about to attack him, but the music cuts on, and he grabs the mask, and he's like, "Let's do this." And yeah, Halloween Kills. I had a good time with it.
Nice.
Oh yeah. My next one's going to be Curse of Michael Myers.
Both of them. Cuts, yeah.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah, most people like the producer's cut better. Yeah, it is good that you get into more Loomis. And like you said, it is more coherent because it's a very, very convoluted movie. It's just a mess. It's an absolute mess. I don't like Myers being part of a cult, being controlled by the Druids and like all this weird Thorn nonsense. I don't like Donald Pleasance having Dr. Loomis having the Thorn symbol just like appear on his wrist. That's stupid. I don't like stuff like that in my Halloween movies. I don't like Michael Myers being defeated by stones on the floor. Or maybe it's Dr. Wynn wearing the Myers mask. I don't know. I don't care. But in the other cut, he's beat to death with a pipe, so who knows? Yeah, Donald Pleasance's last movie, it's really sad. Even he seems kind of bored here. But I do think Michael Myers, I do think that George P. Woolworth did a good job, and I do like how brutal he is. I kind of like everything to do with his character. I don't like what's going on around him so much. But I think that he was, at the time, I think he was the most brutal in this movie and is the most sadistic. I just don't like the whole backstory. I don't like him being controlled and all that stuff. Like I said, I hate how in the producer's cut, how it's heavily implied that he raped his own niece and now he's Uncle Daddy. I can't stand that. That's horrible. Michael Myers would never do that. That's just disgusting and repulsive. But overall, yeah, it's a convoluted mess. I'm not really a big fan of this movie, but it has its moments. I like it better than the others that I mentioned, I guess. Meh.
Yes.
So next one for me is gonna be H2O, Halloween H2O.
Nice.
Um, I do, yeah. It's definitely a screamish movie for sure. There's no denying that.
Yeah.
It certainly played off the success of Scream, and it shows. The style of it is very Scream. And it
Yeah.
almost doesn't feel like a Halloween franchise movie, but in a way, it's kind of cool seeing them somewhere else instead of Haddonfield or Wiz. They
Yeah.
moved to Woshi in California or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Laurie's story. She's moved on. She's a headmistress of the college. And she has a great performance here. Um, Almost maybe more believable than the 2018 version,
Definitely.
where they went with her going through the trauma and all that, and still having kind of visions of Michael. She sees him sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
in her dreams.
Yeah.
But and I didn't mind Josh Hartnett's character as the son. He was all right, and some of the other characters are a little, like fodder though.
Yeah.
And definitely, this is the weakest Michael in the franchise for me.
Yeah.
Didn't care much for Chris Duran's performance or the look or the masks, whether using 5 different masks. And this is a CGI mask. How did that get in there? How'd they let that happen? Just don't get it.
I was dreading seeing the CGI mask when I got it on 4K like 2 weeks ago. I'm like, God, if it already looks that bad, just imagine it in 4K. How it's gonna look. But it's entertaining. H2O
Yeah,
definitely.
it almost feels like the least violent too. Like it wasn't. It could have almost been like PG-13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's some cool stuff like the final battles is very well done, and Laurie is great at the end. It's a great ending to which probably should have been the end of the franchise right there.
Mhm.
And I would have been fine with it. I mean, I was kind of shocked when I went to see it, but after a while, I was like, that's probably how it should have ended.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Resurrection. But Jamie Lee, I think, is the best thing about the movie.
Yeah,
There's
it's her
some
reason, pretty
cheesy stuff going on. Like I didn't like LL Cool J, honestly, but thought
much.
he was goofy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's too Scream for its own good, and I think that gets in the way of it sometimes.
Big time.
It's not scary at any point,
No.
but it's pretty good.
For sure. Well, my next one coming in, here we are in the top 5. It's going to be Halloween 2018.
Nice.
When this first came out, this was like my number 2 of the franchise. I'm like, this is the best. Over time, it's definitely fallen some, but I still think out of this new trilogy, it's the best.
Oh, yeah.
The excitement leading up for this film. And it's still one of my favorite theater experiences, seeing Michael back on screen after almost 10 years. Everything that was coming out, the fact that they got John Carpenter back to do the music, the introduction of James Jude Courtney as Michael, he absolutely killed it, pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of fun. I think as far as like a sequel to the original and like this new trilogy, this one comes the closest to the original because Kills goes more for more blood and then ends is just way different.
Mhm.
Yeah, I adore this movie. I think it's great. It definitely has some problems, like the dialogue, peanut butter on my penis. And, uh, but yeah, Michael's great. I dig it.
My number 6 will be Halloween Kills.
Nice.
Nice.
I really like this movie. Yeah, it was not as good as 2018, but it was really brutal, and I loved the way Myers was just so unstoppable. He was just such a powerhouse in it. At the time, I was thinking, it's probably for the best that him and Laurie didn't come face to face in this one, since they're saving that for the next one.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're really scary look with that, like the burnt kind of melted mask. That was cool. Yeah, really brutal kills. Probably the most brutal of the whole series. Yeah, very violent, very sadistic Myers. Jimmy Lee Curtis is great as Laurie Strode. It's great to see some of the legacy characters back. Tommy Doyle, this time played by Anthony Michael Hall. Lindsay, Sheriff Brackett. Yeah, really cool to see all of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love the ending. I have a few problems with it, but overall, I think it's a great movie. Yeah, Halloween Kills. I really like it a lot.
Oh yeah.
Excellent. I agree. Halloween is 2018 is my choice for number 6.
Awesome.
I agree. I really enjoyed it. It's far from perfect, but the best thing about it to me is seeing Michael come back to that classic style after they went so far off the rails with the Rob Zombie stuff. I wanted to see the original Michael back, and this was cool, and they did a great job with him.
Mm-hmm.
There's still some cringeworthy dialogue in there. There's some bad comedy, like that scene with the guys the cops, and they talk about the sandwiches. I'm like, what the hell is this garbage? It's so out of place. And yeah, peanut butter on my beans. So bad. Any kind of attempt at comedy is bad in this movie. But everything with Michael I love, and it's beautifully shot. The direction, I love that whole one shot scene is fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
Where he walks into the house and he kills that girl, walks around the other house, and it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this, and love when you see the reflection of his face in the house, and then went through the window. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And then you got the nod to Halloween 2 there with the Mrs. Elrod. Nice. And I like how it's nice and brutal. The kills are nasty. I love that scene in the bathroom when he drops the teeth on the girl inside. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Bashes the shit out of the podcaster guy. I thought it was a little cheap. See, there's still things that bother me, but I do like it a lot overall. But there's still things that bother me, like just the idea of transferring Michael to another sanitarium is just incredibly stupid. And I don't like the Sartine character and what they did with him.
Yeah.
But I do like the badass Laurie, and I thought Jamie Lee Curtis was great, and I like Allison. She thinks she's a great character.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, overall is much more good than bad, but
for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely agree. And my next controversial pick is gonna be Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers.
Yeah, you got it up there pretty high.
Yep. I am fully aware of all the problems with this movie. But then again, that's the problem, is that nostalgia plays a big part, because, aside from the original, when I was a kid, I watched 4, 5, and 6 a lot. Like a lot. And a lot of things about 6, like, to me, this movie still has the best fall atmosphere of the franchise, like the Halloween look to it.
Yeah.
The Michael mask, one of my favorite masks. I got it like right there, peeking. The score, I like the rock and roll sounding Halloween theme. Once again, there's still a lot of problems. Like, let's bring it up. The producer's cut as well. There's things I overall do prefer the theatrical, but I do like that the producer's cut has more Loomis, like much more. And I would have liked more of that in here. It does, like you said, explain a lot of things. Like in this movie, in the theatrical, Loomis no longer has the burn scars. They don't mention it. Producer's cut, they mention it. He says he got skin grafts. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I like the theatrical cuts kills more. They show more because the producer's cut's more simplistic with them. This has the head explosion and and the whole doctor massacre scene is one of my favorite scenes because Michael's just like, you think you're gonna control me? Let's see. And then he just slaughters everyone.
Yeah.
But like George P. Wilbur is great as Michael once again. I think he does better than he did in part 4, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the characters. I think Kara Stroke, good character. Paul Rudd is Tommy Doyle the whole time, just like. I don't like how. I get that they didn't get Danielle Harris back, but it was kind of just like, oh, you're an important character, dead, fast. But yeah, Halloween 6, I love it, but I get all the problems with it for sure.
My number 5 is going to be H2O.
Nice.
Now, I had an interesting relationship with this movie because when I first watched it, I didn't like it. I didn't like how it felt like Michael Myers walked on the set of Dawson's Creek. I didn't like how it felt like a Scream sequel. I didn't like the mask with the really, really visible eyes. I wasn't a big fan of Chris Durand, who pretty much got his ass kicked the whole movie. But this is definitely Jamie Lee Curtis. It's definitely Laurie's movie, which I think is cool. They really grew on me over the years. I love the ending. Yeah, that was one of the at the time. That was a really definitive way to end Myers. That was the deadest he'd ever been at the time. Some pretty cool stalk sequences. Yeah, like you guys said, it's not very scary. It's not, it has some suspenseful moments for sure, some stalk scenes and stuff. Some pretty cool visuals, some pretty cool shots. But overall, yeah, I really like this movie. It's really grown on me over the years. I think it gets better every time I watch it. So I still have a lot of problems with it, but it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, see, you got Marion Chambers back in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First time she died.
Yeah. Mike's in the chat. How's it going, Mike?
It sucks big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Rocking the shirts. I would have worn mine, but it's in my dirty laundry as I wore it the other day. Yeah. Already wore it. Shoot, I should have saved it for today.
Are you ready for my controversial pick, guys?
Yep.
Halloween 5, motherfucker.
Yes.
I know people hate this movie, but I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I realized,
Cool.
like you were saying about 6, the problems with it. Yeah, they're there. Like, obviously, the Myers house is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, his mask isn't so great. But there's a lot of stuff in here that I think people miss. There's a lot of cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that Michael drives again, like he did in the original.
Yeah.
Thought that was cool, and he drives a badass black car there. I think it's something that makes Michael a little different, a little more unique than the other typical slashers too. It's one of those things like, how did he learn to drive? It's weird, like
It makes him
it's
scarier.
cool. Another way he stalks people, sneaking up on and driving, and he tries to run him down at the end, And yes, it does kind of ruin the ending of 4, I suppose. But I didn't mind. To me, it made kind of sense the way Jamie's mute, and at least they showed she had a lot of after effects from that stabbing her stepmother and whatever.
Yeah.
She was traumatized, but I kind of like the fact that she has kind of a psychic link there with Michael after she touched him at the end of 4, and now she's feeling that vibes throughout her body, and
Mm-hmm.
she knows when he's around, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that Loomis has lost his damn mind. It's like, because it makes sense, because he's just at his wit's end trying to deal with Michael all this time, and he can't seem to kill him, and it's getting to him, and he's losing it. I
Yeah.
like it. There's some cool kills. Like, I love the scene when he scratches that dude's badass car, and then he nails him with the hoe thing.
Yeah.
Nasty. And it does have a little of that Italian horror vibe to it.
Yeah.
I like some of the stuff. I love the stuff in the barn at the end is very creepy. The way it's shot, he's sneaking around the barn, in the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
And I love
I
the
like those
sickle
scenes.
kill. And yeah, I love the scene with Dr. Loomis trying to talk to Michael there, and he's like got the knife there, and he's sitting trying to tell him about the rage. Can't stop the rage. How many people he killed.
Yeah.
And Michael kind of reacts. He looks up. I love that.
Yeah. I fully believe in this timeline that Michael never wanted to kill Loomis. He had so many chances, and he would wound him to keep him back, but he
Yeah.
wouldn't fully go at him.
Just kind of get him out of the way.
Yeah.
There was a connection there, and they showed that
Mm-hmm.
in that scene. That's why I love that scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely some dumb stuff with some of the characters are horrible. Like the guy you mentioned that dresses up like Michael. Horrible. And that guy, Michael, that is horrible. Tina, I'm a little on the fence about. Like you said, she kind of would be cool to hang out with. She's kind of hot.
Yeah.
She's not bad to look at.
Yeah. We of course, we forgot to talk about the best part. The clown cops don't.
Yeah, that is horrible. Get boom. Boom.
Yeah, Halloween 5.
They even say they're lousy. Good thing we're lousy cops. Like,
yeah, I feel like that's what 2018 was trying to nod with the cop.
I know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's straight up bad. I cannot defend that. And yeah, I wish we would have seen more Rachel's kind of did wrong by her,
Yeah.
Because I really liked her in part 4. At least she had a nice little send off, but they originally is supposed to be a much more brutal kill, as you probably know, right?
Mm-hmm.
I almost kind of want to see what that was, How were they gonna?
Yeah, I remember that.
Fill out.
Yeah, they said that originally they wanted Michael to stab her down the throat or something, and she was like, "No." Cool.
But there's some genuinely creepy scenes, like the laundry chute scene was awesome. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Scary.
Yeah.
When he's hacking at the thing and she's like trying to climb up it. Anyway, I like 5. I know it's got a lot of problems, but overall, I like it.
And I like Don Shanks as Michael. I think he's a pretty good Michael overall.
Yeah, I didn't have any. I thought he was pretty solid.
Yeah.
Not the best, but certainly not the worst.
Mm-hmm. So, how many more do you guys have to go?
I've got 4.
4, yeah.
I got 3 left, so I might have went twice at one point, but it's all good. Number 3 is, of course, Halloween 4: The Return of Michael Myers. The only problem I have with this movie is the mask just looks a bit weird. He just has a
Yeah.
look.
It's a lot weird, I think.
He looks like Data from Star Trek, as I've heard me.
Yeah.
The hair is so neatly combed.
But yeah, everything about this, the introduction of Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd, I think she's fantastic because we all know it. Kids in horror movies can be very bad sometimes, but I thought she did great. The character of Rachel, I love, and all the characters I think are great. I think this movie has a great fall atmosphere to it, like the whole opening title sequence, and it feels like a cold fall day. The score is good. And the funny thing about this is that the mask on this cover looks better than it does in the movie.
That's a really cool cover.
Sure does.
But yeah, like I said, this is one of my most rewatched of the franchise. I watch it a lot. And I'm a big Thorn trilogy fan. I love 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 and stuff like that. So, Halloween 4.
Good choice.
Thank you.
And my fourth favorite is Halloween 2018.
Nice.
Love this movie. Yeah, it was a great return to form. Yeah, the two cops talking about sandwiches and stuff, which did feel like a reference to the two cops in part 5. And yeah, the peanut butter line and so the cringeworthy humor was kind of out of place. Other than that, this movie was damn good. Yeah, Dr. Sartain, that was kind of a weird idea. That was kind of out there. That was a little too bizarre. I think he helped Myers escape, though, which they kind of don't really go into detail on, but that kind of makes it make more sense to me. But other than that, yeah, it's great. It's great to see Laurie again after all these years, played once again by Jamie Lee Curtis, who does a great job. She's got a daughter and a granddaughter this time around. Yeah, just the music's great. Myers looks great. James Jude Courtney did a great job, and even Nick Castle returned in some shots, which is cool. Yeah, I thought this movie is awesome. Halloween 2018 was pretty much everything that I wanted from a new Halloween movie, and it definitely delivered on all fronts. I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah. Well, this might be another shocker that I put it this high. Halloween Kills is my favorite of the 3.
Nice.
Because I just love the carnage, the mayhem of it, the action. It's so entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the brutality of Michael. Michael's just a freaking monster in this movie. Awesome practical effects. The gore is insane.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some great shots too. Like obviously when he comes out of the fire, that's freaking badass. The way it's shot, beautiful. And I do really enjoy the 78 scenes, the flashback. It looks great the way that the cinematography in that scene when they show the streets of Haddonfield there.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the scene when he gets caught. You just see him standing outside the house.
Yeah.
Cool shot. And even though the stuff with Loomis is a little wonky, but it's still cool to see him. But yeah, I certainly can't forget about the nonsense with the mob, the mob mentality, and them chasing after the mental patient guy, that poor guy, and then he jumps off the roof.
Yeah, I saw that coming too. I knew exactly where they were going to go with it. We're becoming monsters ourselves and all that.
It's really dumb. Really dumb.
Yeah, I was like, please don't do this movie.
Yeah. Outside of that stuff, there's a lot of great stuff, like the scenes with when he's chasing Lindsay. Very cool the way that was shot. Very creepy and ominous, and I liked Lindsay coming back. I thought she was really cool. Seeing some of the the classic people from the original movie come back, but especially her, I thought she was very good.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah. Really, this is the one out of the 3 that I just go back to, and I think I will always go back to this one because it's fun. It's crazy, I enjoy it.
Yeah, like you said,
Oh yeah.
the stuff I forgot to mention, of course, was the Dr. Loomis scene and stuff. And I thought the look that they did with the practical effects looked great. Like you could tell some things, but the voice I thought was good, and sometimes it hung on a little too long. Like what's happening?
Did Michael kill again?
Yeah, but if you guys want to go ahead, your number threes, that way we can catch up to number two. You can.
Okay.
Shoot, man.
Number 3, of course, Halloween 4.
Nice.
I love this movie. I think the Halloween atmosphere was a little more prominent this time, which was cool. I love Danielle Harris as Jamie Lloyd. I think she was a great character. My second favorite, final girl, the franchise next to Laurie, of course. It was great seeing Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis again. Rachel's a great character. I really don't have a whole lot bad to say about this movie. I think it's really, really good. George P. Wilbur, I think is a little too bulky looking, and he's got those like shoulder pads, and he's just a little too. I'm not big on the look, the mask, and like the neatly combed hair. Just how much of a football player he looks. A few nitpicks like that. I don't really care for, but overall, great movie. I love Halloween 4. I always have. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same deal. Number 3, Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers. And I thought it was a very welcome return. And I think they did a great job with it. I really enjoy Danielle Harris. I think she's a great character. She's fantastic. What a great child actor performance,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of the best.
And she has such a prominent role here, and for her to carry this movie like that,
Sure.
And Donald Pleasance is awesome once again, He has so many great lines. He's just awesome in this. And has a really, like a lot of people say, I love the opening, very fall feel of the autumn, with the scenes in the barn and all that. Great way to start off.
Absolutely.
And some pretty cool kills, and the mask, in my opinion, it's the worst mask. I hate it.
Yeah.
Just hold up that video case you showed, Hellhound. Is that the mask in the movie? I don't think so.
No, it's not.
I remember seeing that poster when it first came
quite.
out. I'm like, and then seeing the movie, I'm like, that looks nothing like 78 movie.
I wish it looked like that.
Would have been so much better, right?
Yeah.
Imagine how good a movie it would be if it was the 78 mask.
Oh yeah. Well.
Also, definitely George Wilbur is not my favorite in this movie for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you said, he was kind of stiff and awkward at times. And you could see the padding. That was kind of wrong.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that Jamie wears like the costume like Michael had in the original 78 thing, the little clown costume.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
I actually didn't mind the lynch mob thing in here a little bit with the redneck guys taking Michael out at the end.
Yeah, they killed poor old Ted Hollister in the bush.
Get Earls.
Yeah. So we all have Halloween 4 at our number 3. So that's fun.
There's a little cheese though with the like when they go to the sanitarium. Jesus ain't got nothing to do with this place.
Perfection.
Yeah.
Never get used to the faces.
Yeah. Great film. For me, my number 2 goes to the ultimate follow-up, Halloween 2 from 1981.
Yeah, baby.
It's truly a great continuation, like one film into another. It feels the same night and everything. Michael, this time, much more evil, serious, brutal. Um, I think Rick Rosenthal did a great job directing this film, even though I've heard Carpenter did step in and direct some reshoots and stuff. So he definitely had his flair on it.
Yeah.
But, I know a lot of people do not like the hospital stuff and find the movie boring. I don't. I really don't. I just like it all. I like the mood that it sets, like showing the hallways and Michael walking. And it's just a perfect continuation. When I watch the first one, I feel like I got to pop in two right after and continue it.
Always. Like, I can't not do it almost. It's like.
Yep. And this is definitely more of a Dr. Loomis movie as well. Like, you see much more of Loomis trying to hunt Michael. And yeah, poor Ben. But yeah. And I love the score. Like, I've always loved the updated score and the pumpkin with the split with the skull. And
Yeah.
Cool, yeah.
Great. Love the sequel.
I love the score too. Like, even though it's
Me
kind
too.
of pretty much the same, it's just like heightened big time. It's like so much bigger and like
Yeah.
intense, like gothic, old school. It just sounds like old school horror, that's that score, I love it.
I agree. Halloween 2. My second favorite
Halloween
as
2, baby. Oops.
well. Love it. Great continuation, great sequel. I like how it takes place the same night, right after he got shot 6 times and fell off the balcony. I love the hospital scenes, that isolated feeling of seclusion, really creepy. Michael Myers is really brutal and sadistic and has this cruel, mean-spirited streak in this movie, which I think is cool. When I first watched this movie, I just fell in love with it. I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was everything I would have wanted, delivered, and then some. There's a few problems here and there, there's minor things, but overall, it's awesome. I love Dick Warlock as Michael. He's great. I love how we see more of Dr. Loomis and how he's even more obsessed this time. And like really, the final confrontation is a lot more like a kind of like a Van Helsing face off with Dracula type thing, which is cool. Awesome sequel. Absolutely love it.
For sure. I love the kills in this movie. They're much more mean. Like,
all about that hot tub kill.
I think some of them are brilliant, like the way they're shot, like the scene with the needle to the eye is so beautifully shot. Like, and when you slowly see the mask come out, and he just like, and the close up, it's awesome.
Hell yeah,
sure.
And the hot tub, of course, that's awesome. It's so creepy when they show, like, I love how they show in the background Bud when he gets killed, and you just like see what's happening behind.
Yep.
And he just like slowly creeps up on her, and I love that, when he puts his hand on her shoulder and she's like kissing her.
Yeah, that was one of the best kills of the franchise, the hot tub, because it's so, she's burning to death and drowning at the same time.
Yeah.
It's brutal, but awesome. Like,
and yeah, Dr. Loomis, Sheriff Brackett definitely wasn't in this movie a lot. He was in the beginning until he found out that Annie died, but
yeah,
he and Loomis just did not get along. You let him out.
You let him out.
Yeah.
Damn you! What have you done?
Later, Mike. Thanks for coming.
Have a good one.
There's so many great lines in part 2 too.
Yeah.
I shot him 6 times. You don't know what death is.
What that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, death is. Yeah, there's a few little, the tiniest inconsistencies, like Michael gets shot off the back balcony in the first movie, but this one,
I wish they didn't do that.
The Kool-Aid Man blood cutout that Michael left on the ground.
Also, they it's already all over the news that he killed 3 people and the bodies are found. Then later, like much later in the movie, they tell Sheriff Brackett, "Oh my gosh, bodies have been found, and one of them was Annie." Like, really? Like he didn't already know? Because that happened like earlier in the movie. It's another inconsistency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that cop deputy who mainly is with Loomis in this movie.
Deputy Hunt, yeah.
Yeah, the moment he tells Brackett about Annie, just the way he says it, like 3 kids, said one of them was Annie.
And Dick Warlock's in that scene as the cop.
Yeah,
that ran.
Yeah, that's right.
Ran the guy over.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one thing I love about Donald Pleasance is that he can show emotion just with his eyes, just the things he does, like the look he gives when Michael slices the security guard's throat, and he's just like in shock, and he's just brilliant. But yeah, my number 1 is Halloween 1978.
Obviously, come on.
Of all time.
Was there any doubt?
Nope. Of course, Sean, I see yours assigned there.
Nick Castle.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I have talked about this movie ad nauseum, and I will never get.
Sure, we all have.
It's simplistic. It's effective. It's creepy. Michael kind of moves like a cat in this movie. Like he stalks you, but you don't know where he is, and he pops up out of nowhere. It's got some of my favorite lines ever. Like the whole Blackest Eyes monologue is fantastic stuff.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant.
Like Donald Pleasance demands your attention every time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the hey jerk, speed kills.
Drum Smash in the chat. How's it going, man?
It's just a masterpiece to me. It's my favorite horror movie.
Yeah, mine too. It's a masterpiece.
Like, every shot is like iconic. Like, there's so many iconic scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
And the slow burn, the way it's done is so brilliant. The suspense is unmatched. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, this is just John Carpenter at his full peak power, using every trick he has,
Absolutely.
The opening is brilliant with the, seeing from the killer's perspective, and you don't, and then when you find out it's just a kid, it's just horrifying, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just see him standing there with the knife.
Yep, true. And
powerful stuff.
No matter how many times, like the hundreds of times I've seen this movie, it's still intense and a lot of stuff. Like Lori banging on the doorhouse, Tommy, and Michael closer and closer and closer.
Love it.
The keys.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Drum Smash. Sometimes I'm more in the mood for Halloween 2 also.
Iconic score. I love every character I love is so well.
Yeah, me too.
So well written. I know some people think a little bit of the dialogue is cheesy. I don't. I think it's good.
Yeah.
It's natural. It feels natural. It doesn't feel like people are reading from a script,
Totally.
Well, that's how people were back then, teenagers back in the 70s.
Yeah. Hey, you're welcome. Yeah.
And the kills in this movie they're just like my favorite kill is still Bob's death, just the classic.
Classic.
Where Michael's wearing the ghost sheet and the glass is just in the door.
Yeah.
When you think about it, crap. I'm forgetting her name. How could I be forgetting? And Linda. When Linda is getting killed, she doesn't know that's Michael. She probably thinks Bob's killing
her. Yeah, you're right.
That's a good point.
I never thought of it that way.
But yeah, amazing film. And
love it.
Fantastic. This year for my Halloween special, I guess I'm releasing like a brand new Halloween collection video showing all of my
Cool.
stuff. And
Oh, cool.
I'm sure I'll get some comments like, "What's the point of owning so many copies of one movie?"
It's Halloween, man.
Yeah, it's Halloween.
It's not just any movie.
We got a lot of copies of it too. VHS, DVD, Blu-ray.
Mhm.
I got a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think it's about time that we finally get an updated documentary because this is fun. It's great.
Oh yeah,
years.
absolutely.
I've got that myself. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
cool.
we need an updated one.
We need an updated one, big time.
Yeah.
Because that only goes as far as Resurrection.
Yeah.
I think they just mentioned Rob Zombie, but did they mention it?
There's a scene where Mustafa Akkad is like doing like he'll pull a number, and if you win, you get a scene in Halloween 9. But I'm like, Halloween 9 never happened.
That's right. That's Rob Zombie is just in it commenting, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't actually. They don't actually get that far. Talking about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. At the end of the day, it's my favorite franchise. I'm a Halloween fanboy, I guess.
Me too.
I am a fanboy.
Yep.
5-star masterpiece.
Agreed.
Obviously, it has its ups and downs, but overall, it's my favorite franchise. It's out of any of the franchises, this is the one I watch the most and enjoy the most movies.
Hell yeah.
Despite a lot of flaws, there's always usually something good going on.
Yeah, Joe Smash, we talked about that at the beginning, but there's always the replay.
Hit that replay button, hit the like button.
Yeah.
Subscribe, everybody.
Yes.
What's going on, Drum Smash?
Guys have any closing thoughts about the Halloween series?
Fantastic. Love it.
Oh yeah.
2 thumbs way up.
Oh yeah, way up.
The devil horns up, as I say in my review.
Yeah. That was another great stream, guys.
Yep.
Awesome stream, guys. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Never get tired talking about Halloween.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Thank you.
Have a great night, guys.
Till next time.
Peace.
Later.
See you next time.
Peace. Later.